Thanks to our track record of bold climate action, over 150 million residents in C40 cities are now benefiting from cleaner air. This stunning achievement illustrates that with political will, with concerted action, and with clarity of purpose, there is no limit to what we can do.
I think they are hypocrites. I think this could be done online, and they are doing like in here to make a statement that they care about the South governments, the South countries of the global South, but I don't think that that's not happening.
We were told that we are going to talk in the meeting, but it wasn't in any moment. Like, we were just present, but we didn't get the moment to talk with majors or with anyone.
Katie Daviscourt reporting for Rebel News on the ground in Buenos Aires, Argentina at the C40 World Mayors Summit, where a group of protesters just arrived protesting the C40 Summit. Now, if you don't know what the C40 Summit is, it is a group of mayors that have formed a pact called the C40 Cities, and they plan to implement the same climate policies on a global scale to drastically reduce carbon emissions by the year 2040. We're not exactly sure what this group is, but as you can see, it's very large. They have a lot of flags, they're singing, dancing, but we don't know who they are, so we're gonna walk around, talk to them, and find out. Really quick, guys, if you enjoy our coverage, please go to C40Summit.com where you can donate and help us continue covering the other side of the story across the world, like here in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Here.
We're doing a climate strike for the C40 Summit. We're looking for climate financiation of the South.
And what is the goal? What do you guys hope to accomplish?
We hope that due to the COP26 and the Paris Accords, the financiation of those promised for the global South is to be accomplished. $100,000 million was expected to flow from the global North to the global South for adaptation and mitigation measures, and it's not coming through. We are literally dying of floodings and fires because money is not flowing to our countries for adaptation measurements.
So the youth that came to the C40 City Summit, they're actually joining in the protest because they do not think that the C40 city mayors are doing enough to address climate change.
Yes. We as youth, me part of Fridays for Future, but there's also other delegates from the C40 that joined it and organizing the strike because we think that the process was a little bit unfair. About the representation of youth, but also representation of different part of the society. For example, the indigenous community that it was like so invisibilized in the C40. We're manifesting because of the Argentinian government needs to more participation of climate youth activists to represent them in the C40 because there's a lot of things that they didn't talk about related to Argentinian problems. So it was like we were just at the process, but we didn't have the opportunity to talk with majors or anything. We were just like for the image, and that was so bad because we were there supposed to representation, but we didn't get any representation.
What do you think of this group out here protesting the summit?
I feel like this is the youth that has the power and the voice, and no person is voiceless. We just need to pass on the mic, and nobody hands you the power. You have to come out and take it. These guys are doing just that, and I'm in awe of them. In Pakistan, we don't get to see protests like these, but I really hope we get to see protests like these about climate too.
Do they think that there's not enough being done to combat climate change? Is that why they're out here, or are they against the policies that they're putting forth?
I mean, both, but they are also demanding some other things, not only climate change, like thing for the economic structure in here, and also for socialism.
I want to see more grass in the city because it helps to keep gases from climate change, and also for health.
Air pollution?
No, yeah, but for being health in the mind for people, like having green around.
And you were speaking on a panel today, correct?
Yes.
And what were you talking about?
I was talking about resilient cities, and I mentioned how the first step towards one of the many first steps towards sustainability and climate action would be to make our cities resilient, and for that we need climate finance, we need accountability, we need internal mechanisms within cities. Yeah.
So would you say that the C40 Mayors Summit isn't doing enough to address climate change?
Yeah, because exactly about the representation, because they have a lot of international youth, but also local youth in Argentina, like youth from different parts of the country. But we were told that we are going to talk in the meeting, but it wasn't in any moment. Like we were just present, but we didn't get the moment to talk with majors or with anyone. So it was really frustrating because most of us prepared this for months, and just to finally didn't use anything, didn't have the chance to talk. So yeah.
Have you been attending the summit?
Yes, I just came back from there. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on it so far?
Well, from the youth delegation, we think that they didn't give us enough space to talk to the mayors and to the political figures in the conference. So we think it could be better organized for next time and give us a chance to one-on-one conversation with the mayors.
We did have somewhat of a youth representation in the entire two-day event. We had a global youth and mayors forum with 17 members and 15 young delegates from all over the world. So yes, that was giving them recognition, but I do think that their voices, if heard, if implemented, would make it even better.
We saw mayors from across the world travel to Argentina, burning fossil fuels on their private jets, but they want to eliminate all fossil fuels in the future. Would you say that that is hypocritical?
Yes, it is, because the emissions that a plane generates are huge, and there's a lot of people that came in planes. So yeah, that is definitely a problem. But we were trying as youth to try to give a message about the non-proliferation of fossil fuels, because we think that there is no future if we're still using fossil fuels.
This is the dilemma that we face, I think, at every single conference. You have to get there. You have to travel there, but there are so many different ways of doing it sustainably, doing it, you can't help but emit, right? Because that's how our system, how our world works. But there are ways of emitting more emissions or less emissions, and you have a choice there. So I think, yes, it is hypocritical, and that they just not talk the talk, but also walk the talk that they do.
Yeah, but also there were a lot of, measures that were taken inside the location, plastics were not allowed. We were using glass bottles, tote bags were giving, plastic bags were not being used. So there are going to be emissions which are being emitted, but at the same time we need to, ensure that the other emissions are not being emitted because of, the other actions. So there were, things that were taken into consideration, like the food was not wasted, it was getting recycled. Even when we are staying, the hotel is one of the sustainable hotels that we are staying in.
I think they are hypocrites. I think this could be done online, and they are doing in here to make a statement that they care about the South governments, the South countries of the global South. But I don't think that's not happening.
According to the C40 Cities recent report, they want to eliminate all meat and dairy. They want to eliminate all air travel in private vehicles. They only want you to be able to purchase 3 articles of clothing each year. Do you think that that is feasible?
Actually, I don't think so, because there is a huge problem with the transportation. We obviously have seen some electric cars, for example, but they're not huge. And also there is a problem like in the global south with the transportation because the places are not connected in between. So how can we talk about electric mobilization transport if we don't have to connect the places well, if we don't have the street well done? It's not a problem.
I think the agenda is really ambitious, and they are not gonna like make all the objective by 2030. I think they have to restructure the agenda. Yes.
Are you going to continue eating meat? Are you going to give it up?
No. I don't think I can give it up on meat.
Right. Are you going to give up a car?
No, because there's no better options. If you offer me a better option to move or to eat, of course, but there's no alternative. I mean, yeah, bicycle, more sustainable options, but if I want to go to another country, I have to take a plane.
And what about clothes? Are you going to keep purchasing clothing?
Yes, I mean, it's like a cultural thing to like wear clothes. We are not like animals.
It's a personal choice, I believe. I mean, we definitely need to take actions. For example, the first step towards achieving what we are targeting is promoting consciousness or awareness among the local people. Like, for example, we are doing right here, talking in the local language. The youth are doing that, whereas it also should be you guys, like the media, talking about it in your news channels, printing it in the newspaper, not just saying it in YouTube or LinkedIn and talking about it at this level so that people are sensitized about it.
I think they all join in a collaboration like a speech to fight climate change, but I would like to see a real action from this, right? Not only words.
If you enjoyed our coverage of today's events, please go to C40Summit.com where you can help Rebel News out. You can donate to help offset our travel costs, and it is crucial because we are fully supported by our viewers. So thank you guys for all your help. Again, that is C40Summit.com.